What's up, guys? Hey, how are you? Repeat back with you. It is Wednesday night. That means it's day number 2 into this week, but actually it's day number 1.5 or 1.25, 1 and something, because we're not done for quite a bit. We're going to be right back here on Friday, too, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a little while. Jay Quims, good to see you out there in track. But guys and gals, we are back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Wednesday night. That means it's time for these Xfinity cars to take their turn around this big old rectangular track out in Indianapolis, Indiana. Rick James in the booth. Rick, we saw Bowling get it done last night here. We're back. We couldn't quite figure out who might be a favorite during pre-race. How you feeling, sir?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Glad to be with all our friends in the chat. And I'm glad for night number 2 of this week in NNR. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway gets another dose of Xfinity action. I'm ready to go. I know these drivers are ready to go, and you called it, Pete. It's a few drivers in here that could genuinely shake things up. Obviously, you have to look at Q-Dogs. King Mathers is sitting 3rd in the points right now, and Little Tank, who's sitting 6th. He drives that 5 Supra so well. Hopefully, he'll be there at the end.
I tell you what, Little Tank, he was around all last season. He's back this season, doing very, very well. He could be a legit threat when it comes down time for those playoff races, and which we're getting closer and closer and closer to. Jay Quim, though, out there, he's saying good luck, Q-Dog. Q-Dog on point, like you just said. The man has been a model of consistency at a track like Indy, where you've got to be consistent, hit all 4 corners just right. All 4 corners kind of react a little different. 1, you really got to slow down for. 2, you can almost go through wide open. 3, you got to really slow down for, coming off that long backstretch. And again, 4 actually, it seems like it is probably the best handling corner of all 4 here at Indy. You can almost go wide open, but you can't wear out your stuff too early. We saw a couple examples of that last night. Do you have a favorite tonight, sir?
A favorite tonight, Pete? I don't know that I do. I'm going to be looking out for Unforgotten Shadow. He said he would see us in the top 3 at the end of the race, and he seems to have just a chip of confidence on his shoulders. So I'm excited to see what Shadow can pull together. King Mathers, obviously, a lot to play for as well, sitting 3rd. But someone also mentioned the 22 of J-Paw could be coming through the field. And that's what I love about Xfinity, Pete, is that you can never put your finger on one guy and says, yes, this guy's going to win this race today. Absolutely not. It is so much talent spread over such a large field. I really hope the fight for the lead is thick and fast.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We're going to have just a few more cars on track that we had last night in the truck series. Should have like 15 or 16 cars, so it's going to be a great race. I couldn't agree with you more. J-Paw will have a phenomenal chance at this track tomorrow night. When he ran in the American Ethanol race here just a couple short weeks ago, he was up front. He was bad fast, and he was just motivating everywhere around this place. Stout Whiskey said the same thing. They both had a great finish. But looks like they're getting loaded in, so we should be getting our invites here in just a second. Rock NASCAR, good to see you, sir. Hope all is well. Thanks once again for coming out. We absolutely appreciate you. There is the one and only Bowling. He's out here after celebrating in Victory Lane last night. There's Parzival. Boy, they're all coming out of the woodwork here, Rick.
A lot of guys here. Big shout out to Bowling and Parzival, last night's winner, here to catch some of the action. My boy, Con Man, Dr. Bush, is into the chat as well. I'm going to accept this invite, and I'm going to get a nice, comfortable seat but I'm not going to be using it, Pete. I'm going to be right on the edge for these first few laps.
You got that right. Parsifal was my silent hunter last season in the Xfinity Series before he got called up to Cup. It was right about this time where Parsifal was getting super consistent, and he just kept on knocking and knocking and knocking at the door, just like a couple of guys in this series. I think I'm almost wondering if we're going to see a new guy in victory lane. But a new guy that is not new to the pole is going to be the number 8 of old Combat Beast, rocking that Poppy Bank number 8 Camaro. To his outside, it's going to be that Twix 54. I have to see if he's on the left side or the right side tonight. The 10 car of a new guy, old Tweeter. I don't know anything about this guy, never seen him before, but if he showed up for Xfinity, he's got something to prove, and we'll have to see how he progresses his way through the field. We got the 9 of our current points leader, old Q-Dog in that 9. The 20 of Duramax. Duramax will be one of our onboards tonight. To his outside, he's got the 44 Baritone Boss. Then we got King Mathers. He's an American Ethanol and a Shadow Racing League champ. Actually going to get to see him down in Daytona in just a few months. Unforgotten Shadow in that 78. Can't say enough about this guy. You'll actually be able to see him Friday night during Expert Racing's podcast. Then we got the 1 of Cole 315, that Oreo machine, Rick. It's a beautiful paint scheme, isn't it? We got the 98 of old Master Killer, another member of hashtag JPOD Militia. Always out here, always fast, always something to prove. There is that 5 little tank you talked about just a little bit ago with the 99 of Zachary Jason. Zachary was actually first in the lobby, ready to go in Team Comms. We'll have to see how he does. We got the 0 of LXTX7 with the 13 of Commando Griff. Rick, we are back up front, coming through 3 and 4, on board with that Poppy Bank Camaro for yet another pole with Combat Beast. Getting ready to roll, sir. Here we go.
With his second pole this season, the 8 of Combat Beast brings 14 cars down to the line, 2x2, 7 rows deep. The green flag is in the air, and NNR Xfinity is underway at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it really looks like the 8 car of Combat Beast brought him to a crawl before getting to that yard of bricks. The only clue that at some point this entire track was once covered in bricks. We mentioned it last night. Motorcycles, cars, F1, NASCAR. There's so many different forms of motorsports that have run here. Combat Beast wants to come out here, lead that prestigious first lap, come across those bricks first. But Rick, at the end, everybody wants to come across first. 8 still in the lead. 54 started P2, sitting P2, coming off the back end of this track, going down the front stretch right now. Very, very loose off turn 4. Combat, here he comes.
111 years ago, over 63 days in the autumn of 1909, over 3 million paving bricks were used to line all 2.5 miles of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Combat Beast has led the first of many here at Indianapolis. A great lead for him, but the 54 of KFB right on his tail. KFB now goes out to the inside on the left. Twix Camry now to the inside, trying to be the front Twix Camry to the inside of car number 8 through 3.
Through 3, 54 had, he had that bottom line, the preferred line. 8 stuck it to the outside, gave him plenty of room to go. The 8s actually might lose another spot. I mentioned it earlier, turn 4, you can go pretty much wide open all the way through there, no issue whatsoever. It's like a few other tracks where the right rear kind of steps out just enough to where you get a great turn off. But you got to be careful not to abuse that right rear, because you're going to need that a little bit later on. And Rick, they're starting to fan out, and that line is getting longer and longer.
Longer and longer, the 54 of KFB now coming out of turn number 2 and leading the parade down this long backstretch, giving a wave to the golfers in the infield as they come around for another lap at Indianapolis. There's the 8 to the inside. He's trying to get something on the 54, but KFB beginning to pull away. Tweeter sitting in 3rd place, Pete, and Monday nights has been my pleasure to call ENEA, where you can find Tweeter, who just scrapes the number 4 turn wall coming down this front straight, and that's going to give way to Q-Dogs in the 9. Now to the inside of car number 10 at Indianapolis, headed into 1.
Yeah, both KFB and Tweeter making their debut here in the NNR Xfinity Series. Right now, KFB, he's set, he came in. I didn't know anything about him. Took the lead from the 8 of Combat Beast. Combat Beast able to stay right there with him. Tweeter smacks that outside wall. Comes off a little loose. Cole 315, and that 1's going to come high. Also, here comes the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow. 10's going to have to try to find a hole. They are stacked up. He just lost a good 6 positions.
He lost a lot of spots there. Coming out of turn number 4, the 54 car leading this race, but now Q-Dogs finds himself in 3rd, and watch this snake down the famed front straight. Here comes the 9 to the inside. He's being pushed. I'm sorry, I lost track, Pete. It's the 8 coming down to the inside, being pushed by car number 9. And now welcome into this fight, the 15 of King Mathers.
Yeah, King Mathers, he just followed the 9 through every single hole that he made. 9 just about full throttle off of 2. 54, 9 side-by-side drag race. Now the 15 of King Mathers, he's going to file in right behind that 54, and that is the draft at work. King Mathers able to push his way on by up to P3, but we got a new leader, car number 8, back up front.
That Poppy Bank Camaro of Combat Beast leading the race one more time. 54 in 2nd, King Mathers in 3rd, Camaro, Supra, Camaro. And as they come across this line, Pete, they're going to complete 6 laps of the 30 scheduled for stage number 1. That snake just goes wider and wider. It's always a marvel, Pete, seeing these cars just weave and bob down this incredibly long straight as they try to break the graphics. It's almost art-like.
Very much almost. And I mean, you watch it in NASCAR, you watch it in Indy, no matter whether you're here, which made it famous, or Pocono, which has the longest front stretch of any track in NASCAR. A couple other places, of course, you've got your restrictor plates, but they normally don't really pull back and forth as much as you see them here and at Pocono. They will literally snake their way down the front stretch and the back stretch to try to break the draft. I mentioned last night during the truck race that a lot of the guys in real NASCAR will bring their same car from Indy over to Pocono because it drives so similar. I also mentioned one of the corners at Pocono resembles a corner here from Pocono. Of course, the other one being Milwaukee Mile, and then the Trenton Speedway. So. Man, if it drives like it, you got to keep with what works. As J-Pa drops 9 bits in the chat to push for his driver again, member of that old J-Pa militia, driver number 9, Q-Dog, our points leader.
9, 13, 44, 47. J-Paw is really, look at that, 98 as well. J-Paw is just going after it, calling out his favorite drivers. Right now, Combat Beast, who's sitting 2nd in the points, heading this race. King Mathers, who's 3rd in the points table, sitting 2nd and looking like he's going to make a move for 1st place. Your points leader biding his time in 3rd place, and then the rookie, the debutante, KFB from ENEA, sitting comfortably in 4th. 3 Camaros and a Supra headed to 3.
J-Pa, as you said, putting all those bits out there, representing the car number for every one of his J-Pa militia members. Q-Dog, Cole 315, Master Killer, Bill's Legend, Commando Gray. I mean, J-Pa, buddy, thank you very much for all the bits and for everything that you do when we're getting ready to put these Wednesday night races on. Thank you, buddy. Sincerely, thank you. Looking forward to meeting you down in Daytona in August. It's gonna be one hell of a time. We're still working our way through here, Rick. These guys are getting pretty separated now.
It's really a case of the best versus the rest now, and you can see that the best currently consists of 4 drivers that are well within each other's pull. KFB starting to fall off the pace just a little bit, but still trying his best. The 15 of King Mathers now to the inside of Combat Beast, a little bit of contact out of 3, struggling to not hit the wall out of the short chute. King Mathers must readjust, and he will have no momentum out of turn number 4. The 8 of Combat Beast still leads. King Mathers slides right in front of the 9 of Q-Dogs, but the snake goes around him. The 54 of KFB now into 3rd place with 20 laps remaining in stage 1.
You know, I got to give King Mathers all kinds of credit right there. He could have stayed up and pushed Combat Beast up into the outside wall and made him very, very uncomfortable with just a narrow groove to race in. But he said no, he backed out of it, let up, and he fell back a couple spots. But I think he's feeling pretty confident in that number 15 he's got. The same as the 54, the same as the 9. But man, Combat Beast up front once again. It seems Rick, it seems like anybody that's come up to challenge that number 8 Camaro has fallen short.
It's still a long way to go, Pete. Less than 20 left, but Combat Beast seems to have the upper edge and come out on top. The 0 of LXTX now leaving pit road. Commando Griffin, the 13, just ahead of that 20 car of Duramax as they come down the front straight, but Duramax falls into the track of that long Indianapolis straight, and he grinds along the safer barrier into turn number 1. That's going to send him back down to 9th place. Meanwhile, at the front, Pete, these top 3, nose to tail, and trying to find a way around each other.
Yeah, we saw Bowling kind of rub up and scrape up and bang up against that same part of the safer barrier that sticks out last night, and it really didn't affect his car all that much. Hopefully it'll be the same for Duramax. He'll be able to press on and keep working his way up through the field. Like you said, only stage number 1. We're on lap 12 of 30, so 18 more laps to go. Front 4, as you mentioned, kind of skating away just a little bit. King Mathers is running tail end Charlie as part of this top 4. There's a couple cars that are starting to make some noise. I see the one of Colt 315 and one other really, really gaining time, even though these top 4 are right in each other's draft. I think it's going to be the 44. No, it's actually going to be the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow, the guy you picked to possibly take it all tonight.
Unforgotten Shadow told me that he'd be meeting us in the top 3 booth tonight, so we'll see at the end of his race if that all-black number 78 Supra makes it into the post-race show. Cole 315 in that sweet Oreo Camaro coming up right behind, but this top 4 starting to get a little bit antsy here, Pete. LXTX well off the pace. Commando Griff with a little bit of work to do from the middle, but Combat Beast now scrapes the wall into 1, and there's 3 cars behind him ready to take the spot.
Yeah, ready to take the spot, but they got to be just a little bit closer. Either that or they saw what was happening and they checked up all at about the same time and ended up not running each other over. Now there's that 54 Twix machine. He just smacked that outside wall. Rick, I just saw the one of Cole 315 get a little loose coming off the corner. I just saw the 54 I'm sorry, I forget
KFB.
his. Yeah, they're KFB. Just saw him smack the outside wall. So it looks like it might be a tale of 2 woes. One getting a little loose, one getting a little tight, or KFB had to chase it up the track in order not to spin out. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. Man, what a great duel up front so far. Some of the guys in the middle trying to run them down, and there is a pack behind the top 6 that were just all together. Something must have happened there. Experts are racing out there saying, thanks for showing off that promotional graphic, Pete. Absolutely experts, and I'm kind of glad that you're here and you kind of pointed that out. On the right-hand side of your screen under my camera, that is a new promotional graphic that, the one and only Experts of Racing and his great podcast on Friday nights put together for old TN Vols. Vols is going to be broadcasting for the NNR iRacing series once that kicks off right around June time, whenever Vols makes his way back from South Korea and can get back into a normal schedule. And from what I hear, he's going to have one hell of a broadcasting partner. You might even get a little glimpse of the second half of that duo come Friday night when we all go out for a fun run. We're going to be running the new iRacing Super Speedway, Daytona and Talladega, starting off right around 9 o'clock. Rick, we got a battle for the lead. King Mathers in that super stout 15 has been able to catch the 8. 8 is really pinched down low. King Mathers trying to do the best job he can to make sure he wasn't able to get back to the throttle, but the 8 somehow made it work. Now they're battling off a 4 coming to the stripe. Who's it going to be?
This is not a battle. This is an absolute dogfight. World War II aces dancing around each other in that Indianapolis sky, trying to weave artistry through and around their race cars. Gorgeous drafting, intoxicating passes through the corner, an absolute mesmerizing battle for this lead. Not to mention, Pete, we have a debutante, the rookie, the 54 of KFB, hanging on to 4th with the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow looking to make a pass. This top 5 is full of storylines.
I tell you what, man, I might have to jump on that Unforgotten Shadow bandwagon with you. He has come back. He has come from seconds, not just 1 or 2, seconds back. And he ran down this pack even with them, mostly nose to tail on this straightaway. I think this 78, if he gets out front, he is going to check out. He's going to take it 3 wide across that yard of bricks, going into 154 very wisely. Checks up. That's going to push Q-Dog back a couple spots. This 78 is handling like a dream.
Q-Dog on the tail end of the top 5, Pete. That 78 is giving it the full beans out of turn number 2. Drivers signaling they're going to come down pit road, and all 5 of the top 5 will be coming down, passing Gasoline Alley for tires and fuel. It's been a enthralling opening stint so far. Long may it continue through this race. I wonder what the 9 has up his sleeve, if he will come down pit road or if he's stretching the mileage the way he's letting cars overtake him. Here comes all of the top 5, Peter. 20 car gets around. We'll see who comes out first.
I tell you what, the 78 was very, very lucky. He was close to that outside line when, coming to pit road, and the 20 of Duramax just about repurposed that 78 sticker on the back of his Toyota. That would not have been good for how fast Shadow's car has been, but 15 and 78 came down just about the same time, doing pretty well. Whole lot of great company out here in chat, Rick. Experts of Racing, Alpha York, NNR Bowling, Yotes King, Alpha York, J-Pop, J-Quim, Rock NASCAR. There are a lot of great people out here, and it seems like they've all got different people that they're pulling for. Some of them talking about iRacing, some of them talking about a couple of different things. But man, it's all about the love of racing, and these guys are phenomenal. One hell of a community. We say it week in and week out.
A sensational community that we have here, and a great start to this first stage. It's going to be 11 laps to go with the next time by, and we're going to see what these drivers can put together in these final 11 or 12 laps. We'll see who's got the strategy, the tires, and the fuel to make it to the end. Hang on, Pete. The end of stage 1 is going to be fun.
Buddy, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Man, you are... Man... I run out of words whenever I start talking about all of you. Giving a sub to Alpha York, giving a sub to Tex Pelt, the constant bits that you throw around, your generous time that you give during these races. Rick, man, Pete, thank you so much.
Labor of love, my friend. Labor of love. We're here for the racing. We're here for each other. If anything, this community just gets a little bit stronger week in and week out. We are here for the love of racing, and the love of racing manifests into love for each other on and off the track. The community only gets stronger with each broadcast, my friend. Think nothing of it. We will each pay each other forward in one way or another. The love continues to circulate.
Always, always, always. And Experts Racing just put out a message, talking about a podcast he's got coming up on Friday night with a pretty big announcement. He's going to have a couple of guests. He's going to have Unforgotten Shadow to talk about the past season that they ran on Sunday afternoons right around 5 o'clock Eastern. And he's going to have the one and only Rock NASCAR on as well. You're not going to want to miss it. There is the link right there in chat. Go on over, give it a smash. One of the newest affiliates to Twitch. Congratulations to them on that. I can't wait to chime in, see exactly what's going on, especially as the broadcaster for Shadow Racing. I can't wait to hear what's going on, and not only that, head on down to Daytona with a bunch of those fellas and really take in the sights, the sounds, and have one hell of a time. Hype train coming!
Hype train on the way in to close out stage number 1. This is the time to put in those bits. It's the time to gift the subs and continue to share the love. 22% through level 2 of this hype train. 4 subs gifted out. Fans at home, if you have Amazon and Twitch, combine your Amazon Prime account with your Twitch account and get what's called Twitch Prime. Your Twitch Prime account gives you one subscription of your choice each month. Why not make that subscription Repeat 1975? Not only does he broadcast, he drives. The NNR broadcasts week in and week out are thrilling, and you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't subscribe to Repeat 1975. The rest of us subscribe to Repeat, and you should as well. Get in on this hype train. 4 minutes left in level 2 of this train, Pete. 8 to go when they cross this line.
And Rick, it's not even just about the sub here. There is so much that comes with that Twitch and Amazon Prime merger. You get gaming DLC, you get a lot of free games, you get Twitch TV, you get all kinds of stuff, plus a whole bunch of free shipping on most of your Amazon purchases. I just bought a brand new pack of ratchet straps because I'm going to be heading up to PA next week. I had to get some new straps to hunker the luggage rack to the top of the car. Free shipping saved me like $18. So that's just one example, and it's honest to goodness probably one of the best investments. Man, if you're a gamer, you like TV, which who doesn't? Merge your 2 accounts. As Rick James said, you can either use that Prime membership here. Absolutely, I would appreciate it. But man, you got to keep up with Rick James as well. Vols is one hell of a broadcaster. Also, of course, there's Atlanta Racing out there. There's Expert Racing. There's so many very, very deserving guys of your time. We get, I think, out of an Amazon Prime or a Prime membership, Prime subscription, we get like $2 out of it, $2.50, something like that. So yeah, there's a little bit in it for us, but man, it's really, it is all about you. I've said time and time again, I would broadcast all these races for free. I've given away a whole lot for a couple of Twitch checks that I've got. It's all about you. And actually, you know what, Rick James, you have mod privileges on this channel, don't you?
1 or 2, I believe.
I'm going to ask you to go ahead and create a poll, if it'll let you. If it doesn't, please let me know. We're going to give away another $100. How's that sound? If it'll allow you to create a poll, I want to know what kind of gift cards the majority of this community wants. Do they want Visa gift cards, NASCAR.com gift cards, Amazon gift cards, Xbox gift cards, or some other? If it won't let you, please let me know and I'll create it. I meant to create that last night, but we got talking about the race and the track and the history, and the conversations are never boring. So if it'll let you, great. Give it a good 10-minute ticker. If it won't, we'll have to make do. But I'm curious what the people out there would like to see out of the next $100. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
My pleasure, Pete. No problem at all. I don't know that let's see here. Let me pull up some tools and see what I can do. Stage 2 is coming to an end regardless, Pete. That 54 of KFB has been pulling his weight either way. Combat Beast leads confidently, but don't look now. But the guy that's kind of been warming up a lot of the hearts here, Unforgotten Shadow, has snuck his way into second place. And with 4 to go this time by, Pete, he's challenging for the lead.
I'm trying to get up there right now. Yep, looks like Unforgotten Shadow able to get on by the 8 of Combat Beast after he slaps the wall. But here is a big charge from the 15 of King Mathers, pushing that 78 all the way down the front stretch. Hopefully the 78 didn't get pushed beyond his limits of the tire and that wheel to be able to steer on in. Here it looks like he's able to hold on to it, able to hold on to the lead. I don't think there was anybody going to hold that 78 back here in the middle and the end of stage number 1. 3 laps remaining next time. I'm sorry, 2 laps remaining next time by. They're on lap 27 of 30. That's 78. If he stays as strong in stage 2 as he's been here in stage number 1, it is going to, everybody else is going to be hard pressed to catch Shadow.
Shadow is really giving it everything right now. It almost looked like Shadow just almost ran out of steam there when he caught up to the leader. Catching him is one thing, passing him is another, but now Shadow confidently leads, and the 15 of King Mathers begins to get closer. Just the lead changes in this first stage have been so much fun to watch.
Rick, if you had a car as strong as that 78 was, where he ran down the front pack even though they were nose to tail, would you change anything?
That's a tough question, Pete. That's a question for the drivers, and there's a reason they are there and I'm sitting right here. What I would say, honestly, I wouldn't change anything because stage two is where you can fine tune for the money stage, for stage number 3. If the 78 has been on a long run strategy so far, it is working out, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, there hasn't been anything broken about that 78. I kind of have to agree, even though he's made a pit stop. The 15 obviously made a couple changes. The 8-car Combat Beast now sitting in P number 3 also made a couple changes. They are on their second to last lap to max out points here in stage number 1. King Mathers trying to duck out just a little bit, maybe get a little bit of clean air on the front of that number 15 Camaro. The 78 in that Supra still leading. The 8-car normally driving that Hellman's machine around. A little bit different of a paint scheme, but hey man, it's Indy. Got to try something different, try something special. 78 blocked that 15 coming off the corner. Here comes the 8. Big shove to the back end. He was going to try it 3 wide. Rick, we've got 1 lap to go, and they're racing right now. It's like the last lap of the last stage. Can 78 hold him back?
Unforgotten Shadow coming from seemingly the back to the front. Couple other drivers wiggling around and struggling to gain traction, but this fight for the lead just continues to pay dividends. The 8 of Combat Beast now struggling to hold off the 15 of King Mathers. The 78 of Unforgotten Shadow leading into the third corner. Pete, it's a mile to the line.
1 mile to the line. 78 of Unforgotten Shadow. He has got the point all the way through turns 3, coming to turn 4 again, where you could just about go wide open, especially since they just came off their green flag pit stop. It doesn't look like the 8 of Combat Beast is going to have anything for him. It is going to be Unforgotten Shadow, your pick for the race to come across the line. Max point stage number 1, our pole setter, the 8-car Combat Beast in P2, and this 2-time maybe or more champ King Mathers coming out in P number 3. Phenomenal finish to a phenomenal stage. Looks like it's going to be KFB and Q-Dog to round out your top 5. Ladies and gents, we're going to take a quick second to grab something cold to drink. Why don't you go on over, run to the fridge. You got about 35 seconds to do so. We're going to go to nnrleague.com, and we will be right back. Whew.
Hey NNR fans, are you looking for a way to rep your favorite NASCAR Heat Preset League on Xbox Live? Look no further. Just go to nnrleague.com, scroll down to the Zazzle tab, and see what we have to offer. From t-shirts to hoodies to clocks, we have everything you need to show your support. Thanks for being the best fans, and we hope to see you at the track repping that NNR red.
All right, so we are back. Stage number 2 now getting started. 78 of Unforgotten Shadow, 15 of King Mathers, 8 car Combat Beast, 9 car of Q-Dog, and KFB in that 54 Twix machine to round out your top 5. Stage 2 under green. Didn't take long for King Mathers to find a spot to fall into. I'm really curious to see what kind of time this 78 is going to make up. Or, now that everybody's had a chance to go down pit road, are they just equal? We'll have to see. Rick James will be right back. His pit stop's going to take just a little bit longer than these guys did, but he will be back here in just a little bit. We're going to keep on going through the field, about single file for the first 6 or 8 cars. Not too bad. There's the 20 of Duramax, 10 of Old Tweeter, and a few more. 44 of Baritone Boss. One big, very, very long conga line along that inside. Definitely hope everybody out there is doing well. Congratulations on the Stage 1 hype train. Hopefully you definitely appreciate the emotes that only you as part of the hype train picked up. But I was talking about the NNR iRacing series and the fun runs that are happening this Friday night, 9 o'clock. Think about the first track that I mentioned, the iRacing Super Speedway. Think about a track like Martinsville. Stretch it out till it's about 3 miles wide. Give the corners about 15 degrees of banking. The straightaways about 15 degrees of banking, and give the corners about 40 to 45 degrees of banking. Top speed with a setup on that track, you're talking 250, 260. In the draft, regular cars, 220, 230. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be one hell of a time, but you're also not going to want to miss the Experts Racing podcast, which kicks off right around 5:30 that afternoon. So before you come out and hang out with us that night, make sure you check out Experts podcast. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be sure to tune in. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to have some company come Friday afternoon as well. Who knows? Maybe I'll jump online and introduce that guy. You all, or most of you, know him pretty well. Still going to keep working through the field. But yeah, it's going to be a trio of super speedways on Friday night. The iRacing Super Speedway, then we're going to go to Daytona, and we're going to go to Talladega. You're not going to want to miss it.
Of this first corner, that 9 car of Q-Dogs leading King Mathers in second, Combat Beast sitting third through turn number 2 in front of that large green stand and down the straight. In the 5th position, you have the rookie KFB, but right ahead of him is Duramax in position number 4. Combat Beast to the inside of King Mathers headed into the 3rd corner. Duramax in that 4th position, and KFB, his Toyota compatriot, right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like we got an early retiree, the 0 of LXTX7. Something happened with him. Now riding along with the 13 of Commando Griff, right behind Bill's Legend in that Trump machine. He's got, I think that's the 5 of Little Tank, about 5 or 6 car lengths back behind him. But Rick, there is just one long line of about 8 or 9 cars, then a bit of a space, and then another, the rest of the field. 78 of Unforgotten Shadow. Something must have happened with him. He started as the control car for stage number 2. He's fallen back to about P5. He's on the inside of that 54 Twix machine. Now trying to make up spots. Be interesting to see if he's going to be able to run back down the leader, or if somebody else is going to have something for him. It's going to be we'll kind of have to hang in and watch.
Don't believe it, just watch, Pete. We'll see what kind of funk these guys are up to in the closing laps of stage number 2. Duramax holding steady in 4th place, and I'm so glad to see so much diversity among these drivers. Drivers from the mid-pack, from the back, coming up to the front to challenge for this lead. It's going to be 21 laps to go next time by. Pit stops looming, and look at this, Pete. 2 by 2, 2 rows deep down the back.
Absolutely. King Mathers, the Combat Beast on the front, the 20 of Duramax, and the 9 of Q-Dog. Here comes the 54 with a huge run. Something happened. I don't know if under braking he got loose, not wanting to go into that corner 3 wide. Great move by him. Very sacrificial to just nail the brakes and drop back, or was it lag? I don't know. All I saw was that Twix machine get super squirrely, just about lost all that caramel all the way to the back. I guess he wished maybe he had a little bit under the tires to hold pace, but all the same, great job by KFB not to take out the entire front of the pack.
We'll see what KFB can put together in these remaining laps. Oh, look at this. The 8 car now to the outside, getting squeezed by King Mathers. Pete, a fantastic drag race down this front straight. Combat Beast with a little bit of extracurricular activities, but as the phrase goes, no harm, no foul. 15 to the inside, 2 Camaros duking it out side by side. Shadow waiting in the wings in 3rd, and Q-Dog eager in 4th. Welcome Commando Griff into the top 5. His Supra makes an appearance.
Yeah, that 13 Commando Griff, he is fast every single week. Again, Rick, we talk about the guys that definitely put in the time, put in the effort to get these races rolling and rolling the right way. I mean, what more can you say about the track awareness, the preparation, the speed, the effort, the time, the money, all the things that these guys put into these races here in NNR? It's been a lot of fun. Bowling out there is saying that this place is sketchy. When you get off the throttle, you get all kinds of squirrely entering the corner, almost have to drag the brake to help plant the car. So, Rick, when we're talking about dragging a brake, what other tracks does that kind of bring to mind?
Road courses, Pete. You want to drag the brake going into those, genuinely not even road courses, any tight, flat corners. You're going to want to drag the brake and just give those brakes a little bit of heat. Just prepare them for what could be a lot of thermal attention onto those binders, and hopefully, well, not here, but in a real life situation where the brakes are the car's very dependent on the brakes, thermal shock, where the brakes could fail altogether. But so far, it's not a question of braking for me, it's a question of drafting. Look at the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow, the way he's going to weave behind the 15 and try and plan his attack into 3. Commando Griff sits in 3rd, and so far tonight, Pete, I count 8 drivers that have been in the top 3.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Last night it seemed like it was just bowling and like 1 or 2 others that have been able to lead. Tonight we've got, as you just said, 8 different leaders that have paced this field. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, after last week's winner, there were 8 different winners in this NNR Xfinity series, which shows the most, to use Stout's word, parity amongst the NNR series, whether truck, Xfinity, or Cup. In the Cup, it's been pretty much CGMX Rose and Lucky Dog and a more smoke that have gone week in and week out, although Stout Whiskey put together a dominant performance last week in that 3 machine. He was not going to be denied. So we'll have to see if we have our 9th different winner. I mean, right now, you've got Unforgotten Shadow. I don't believe he's won. The 15 of King Mathers, he's gotten it done. Obviously, the 8 car's gotten it done. So has the 9 of Q-Dog. So, Shadow not getting it done. He has got one hell of a hot rod here tonight. He could be the favorite to make that 9 different winners.
Mathers leading at the front of this one. Shadow sitting in the 2nd position, and 2 cars go around the pole sitter. Combat Beast in the wall. 3, 4 cars involved, and they continue to spin. We'll see how long they roll until the yellow comes out, and there it is. Pete, cautions out at Indianapolis. Commando Griff continues to sail through the Indiana sky.
Yeah, I was looking at the onboard for the Ada Combat Beast. He was, as you mentioned, absolutely involved in all that. There's going to be a lot of cars that are going to have to be fixed up, spend some extra time on pit road, come on out, and see just exactly what they're going to have to deal with. I don't know if that was a product of lag or what, but man, that was not what they wanted to see. Unforgotten Shadow, he is actually out there listening, and you know what, Rick? I forgot. Shadow won Daytona, so everybody up inside that top 4 right now does have a win. Could it be somebody else?
We'll see. Coming to the restart of stage number 2. King Mathers leading this race and bringing the field to green. It's in the air and we're rolling again. Unforgotten Shadow to his outside, and stage number 2 now with 14 laps remaining.
14 laps remaining. King Mathers control car. He's going to bring it, get up and go through the gears as quickly as possible. Unforgotten Shadow right in his back pocket. KFB in that 54 Twix machine. Not quite sure which side of the road he wants to be on. Then you got the 9 of Q-Dog, the 20 of Duramax. A little bit of contact between the 54's right front and the left rear of the 78. 78 able to hold on, definitely showing he's got plenty of speed under the hood. He was not part of all that melee, Rick. There's one very long line going all the way back to the end. 14 Xfinity cars left on track after LXTX7 lagged out, and it seems like they're just one right after the other. Everybody in King Mathers' rear view, though.
King Mathers still leading this race. The lucky number 13, laps remaining in stage number 2. Unforgotten Shadow sitting in second. The new guy, KFB, now making his move for the silver medal position. And right behind him, the points leader, Q-Dogs. Pete, a great spirited drive from KFB so far. And his ENEA counterpart, Old Tweeter, sits right now in that 10 car just on the fringes of the top 10 itself. So much talent, so much fun to watch, Pete. A dozen left when they cross this line.
Rick, I don't know if you remember during the Fast Family League showdown when we broadcasted together for ENEA, we had mentioned that ENEA was originally called the NNR Arca Menard Series. They were NNR's up-and-coming league, or a place where NNR would be able to draw the best out of. So this is kind of like a second home for Tweeter and KFB. So I guess more than these guys being new or whatever, it's really a calling up if they were still under that, but they rebranded under ENEA. And good to see the level of speed and the level of track awareness and the level of racing that they've been able to bring out tonight. They're both sitting pretty good inside the top 7 or so, but KFB has absolutely been up inside the top 3 most of the race. But you still have your normals: King Mathers, Unforgotten Shadow, the 9 of Q-Dog, the 98 of Master Killer, 47 of Bill's Legend. They've been up here every now and then, but these two somewhat newcomers, not a bad showing whatsoever. Definitely going to raise some eyebrows.
Raising some eyebrows and raising a lot of heart rates right now because they have a lot to fight for. 10 laps to go next time by in stage number 2. The 78 of Unforgotten Shadow trying to push the 15 of Mathers into 3. Q-Dogs wants to bring his Chevrolet back to the front of this race, but right behind them all, waiting in that 4th position patiently, is Combat Beast in the 8. KFB now to the inside, challenging for 4th. Then you have the 20 of Duramax right behind them in 6th. Duramax scrapes the wall. Q-Dog losing momentum. Here comes the 99 of Zachary Jason, shoving the 54 of KFB out of the way. 10 laps to go in stage 2, and we're only just getting started.
Absolutely, just getting started. The 8-car Combat Beast gave the 78 of Shadow a little bit of a shove, pushed him out. Shadow tried pulling a crossover, really keeping the 8 pinched up against that outside wall. They are door to door, fender to fender. The 20 of Duramax going to have to decide which line he wants to go. 78's just going to check up, give the 8 the spot overall. That's going to push 2nd through 5th. all nose to tail, coming through the backside of this track. Now going to come off of turn number 4, head towards that famous yard of Brooks. Bricks moved the 8 back to P2, 78 P3, 20 to P4, and yeah, man, these guys are battling like it's they got 5 to go.
Battling with everything they've got. 8 at the line next time by. Duramax in that blank number 20 Toyota Supra moves into the 4th position. So that's 2 Chevrolets, 2 Toyotas top 4, and then Q-Dogs rounds out the top 5 in that Exalta ride. Little Tank now in the 6th place, and King Mathers watching this long, straight, single file line of race cars sail into 3 right behind him, Pete. These drivers have been doing their best so far, but will they have the fuel, the tires to, well, they're going to have the fuel and the tires to make it to the end, but what will stage 3 mean for them? Because the way they're driving these cars, it's not going to be very conducive to a good conservative strategy in stage 3.
No, it won't. There's nothing. Man, I'm sorry. I just watched this run that the 8 had to the outside. The 15 just kind of opened the door. 8 took it, went straight on by, and then the 15 just dropped the hammer, took the spot right back as the 8's now going to drop to the inside, try to get Unforgotten Shadow and maybe make a little bit of a mistake coming through the corner. Shadow hard on the throttle. 8 not able to keep up. Put that 78 back to P2. 15 still keeping P1, 20 of Duramax, and as you said, the 9 of Q-Dog sitting back here just a little bit. Rick, there's spots being swapped all over this place.
This is thrilling racing, Pete. NNR Xfinity never disappoints. Bowling in the chat saying this is great racing. Yotes King saying keep your eye on the 22 next week. So already predictions being made for future weeks, but right now the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow looking to get to the inside of King Mathers. Here comes Combat Beast in the 8, shoving his Chevrolet compatriot down the back. Everyone on the outside line, even the 54 of KFB. Look at Pete. This is just fantastic racing.
Absolutely. One caution besides the stages. These guys have done a phenomenal job. Even with a couple of them bouncing off that outside wall, King Mathers going to reassume the lead. 8-car Combat Beast, 78 of Unforgotten Shadow. It seems like we've talked about them being the top 3 for most of stage number 2. Just the 15 has been relentless, not willing to give up the spot, but even when he has, maybe gone door to door, fender to fender, been able to stay in the throttle and pull himself right back up. Now the 20 of Duramax, he's going to push the 78 back to P number 4 rather. And Rick, I'm starting to see more and more of one long line. Not too many people losing the draft, and I'm pretty sure they're just running it on normal. So that just goes to show that a lot of these cars are very, very equal. Nobody's really breaking or pulling away. It seems whoever's got the clean air on the nose of their Chevy, their Ford, or their Toyota is really just able to hold that top spot. And just as I say that, the 8 goes back to the lead.
8 back to the lead as he crosses this line, but he's got a slew of hungry competitors right behind him, eager to take whatever spot they can. Through this corner, Pete, these drivers have learned so much about each other in this second stage. They'll have time to maneuver around each other in stage number 3. And there's the caution, Pete. Look at that, 2 cars around in the second corner.
Yeah, 2 cars around. That was lap 24 of 27. So I think that's probably going to bring out, that's going to bring out the end of the stage. Fry Dog, thank you very much for those bits. Definitely appreciate you. Let's take one more quick commercial break. I am parched. You want to know how to follow NNR? Here you go.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
All right, ladies and gents, stage number 3 about to get underway here. Here we go. 8-car Combat Beast to 15 of King Mathers. Rick, there are your control cars heading into 1.
Combat Beast to the inside, Mathers with the superior start, but he can't make the pass stick. Still 2x2 with the 10 of Tweeter sitting in third, one of the ENEA debutants, and now the 54 of KFB, his ENEA compatriot, now on the outside. 3 Chevrolets, 2 Supras making up that top 5, Pete. So much to play for. This is going to be, it's a green-white checkers to end stage number 2. White flag will be in the air this time by.
All right, so in stage 1, Unforgotten Shadow grabbed max points. Right now, it looks like King Mathers, he's going to try for max points, but here comes KFB to the inside. It's going to be an ultimate drag race, but Combat Beast is actually going to determine who wins stage number 2 as it gives the 15 a big old push. They're side by side behind King Mathers for at least the next 2 rows. See a car way in the back, off in the grass. No harm, no foul. Don't really see anybody spinning. The 54, big old draft off the 15. 15 ducks low. He's going to have to come back up high, hoping that the 54's not there. There goes 54 with a very, very aggressive move to the inside. We'll have to see if he's able to hold it on the throttle. Not so much. Had to make the corner work. Rick, 15's coming off turn 4.
Out of the 4th corner with clever blocking strategy into turn number 3. King Mathers leading the 54 of KFB, and he will come down in the front straight to win stage number 2 at Indianapolis. KFB in 2nd, Unforgotten Shadow 3rd, Contact across the line, and stage number 3 is going to be a barn burner.
Wow. I'll tell you what, they were all fighting like that was the end of the race. So Unforgotten Shadow max points stage number 1. Stage number 2 is going to belong to King Mathers. That 54 is really starting to apply the pressure. We saw the 10 come on up. We saw the 8. We saw the 78 there. Man, Rick, we're starting to see some new people up towards the front of the pack. I gotta say though that 78 looks like he might have some competition. King Mathers looks like he might have got that thing tuned in. If the 78's gonna try to win it like you picked, man, he's gonna have one hell of a battle on his hands.
Stage 3 now getting ready to go. The 15 of King Mathers on the inside, the 54 of KFB on the outside in the right Twix Supra on the right side of the racetrack. The green flag flies into the air and we are racing one more time. Pete, this is for all the marbles. The next 37 laps will determine your NNR Xfinity winner at Indianapolis.
Absolutely, just like we talked about bowling last night in the trucks. He got the opportunity to kiss those bricks. Everybody wants to do this. This is one of the tracks that we only go to one time a year. As prestigious as it is, some people say, well, it's just 2 very long straightaways with a horseshoe at both ends. Rick, this place has too much history to be boring. If that's really all it was, none of these guys would be, it is what it is. I'm just going to show up, going to race. I'll throw something in and get going. Everybody wants to win at Indy. I think about Watt Racing and all the years that he spent in NNR. This is his home track. This is the one track that he always wanted to win at. He's won here in other series, but that NNR win at Indianapolis eluded him. And unfortunately, when NNR switched nights for nights that the trucks were racing, he couldn't stick around anymore. He's going to join us over on the iRacing side. Maybe he'll get it done over there. But everybody wants to win at Indy.
Why not, Pete? One of the most famed racetracks on planet Earth. Every win is special. And these guys are going to fight hammer and tongs all the way to the end. So many famous races at this famed racetrack. And NNR is going to bring one more winner to that famous list. Mathers leads, Unforgotten Shadow sits 2nd, Combat Beast, KFB 3rd and 4th, and now for the first time in the top 5 today, Baritone Boss.
Yeah, absolutely. 44 Baritone Boss able to work his way on up. He's got the 13, a Commando Griff, not too far off of that Skyview rear bumper. But one line of about 6 or 7 cars, a little bit of a break of about a 6 or 7 car length difference, and then another pack of about 5 or 6 cars. So, Rick, I wonder if these guys are just going to kind of maybe ride a little bit, stay in the draft, conserve a little bit of fuel. I didn't see exactly how many laps they get on a tank of gas, or whether it was more of a tire issue before the tank actually ran out. The caution at the end kind of got in the way of that, of me actually seeing what they were doing. I didn't realize that they were actually coming back to a green-white checker for the end of stage 2. That's why I brought up the final stage decal and took that break so early. But nonetheless, 78 of Unforgotten Shadow, 8 car of Combat Beast, 54, and then the 13 now able to work his way on by that 44, 8 of Combat Beast. He's going to try that inside, see if he can't depose the 78. A little bit of contact there after the 8 car made some contact with the grass. That's going to move KFB up to P number 3, challenging that 8 car. And Rick, the more these guys run side by side, that 15 is getting further and further and further away.
But it's only the early laps of stage number 3. You can enjoy a lead now, but what will it mean for the fuel consumption, for the tire wear? 33 laps remaining in this stage, and King Mathers can enjoy this gap all he wants. The 8 of Combat Beast, with help from the 54 of KFB, are going to use their skills to catch up. And another newcomer to the top 5, Pete, the 98 of Master Killer, sits 4th.
Great job by Master Killer to pull himself on up. He was sitting very, very close to tail end Charlie. It seems like not too long ago. This race has absolutely flown by. And don't forget, guys, after this race, you still got an American ethanol race headed up by the one and only Alpha York. I saw more smoke out there in chat. Obviously, Cape and a few others. So you're not going to want to miss them right after here. I think they're at Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely make sure to stick around. One of the guys, actually, Rick, isn't the broadcaster for that race one of your friends?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I know Alpha York is one of my good friends here. I mean, it's a pleasure talking to Alpha, and even just beyond NASCAR, we talk about Madden, we talk about all sports together. Alpha is a very accomplished driver, and he will do a fantastic job with American Ethanol tonight, I'm confident.
Yeah, I think their broadcaster, though, it's somebody from A Squared, if I'm not mistaken. It's Rylan Pinnell, I think.
Ryan Pinnell, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, I think it's Ryan Pinnell.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Pinnell, actually a native of Indianapolis, if you will, actually. Ryan Pinnell grew up just a few miles down the road, close to downtown Indianapolis. He would come here often as a kid. He's very, very close to this speedway and a marvelous broadcaster. Yeah,
so he's kind of picked up the reins on the American Ethanol series and absolutely run with him. I saw a message out there earlier in the American Ethanol chat. He's got some brand new graphics that he's got up and playing with. You're definitely not going to want to miss it. And more smoke out there. And yeah, he said it's actually not Kentucky. It's going to be Iowa. So you're absolutely not going to want to miss that. Make sure that once this race is over, go on over, give them a follow. It's absolutely appreciated. They've done a great job. I've heard nothing but good things about their stream, not only from Alpha York, but also from the one and only Papa Bear, talking about the great job that they do. So yeah, you're definitely going to want to tune in.
We'll see what these guys can do in these remaining laps. Baritone Boss falling a little bit off the pace. King Mathers continues to lead, but his lead has not stretched out any further over the 54 Twix Supra of KFB. Meanwhile, your Stage 1 winner, Unforgotten Shadow, has fallen well off the pace as these cars bob and weave down the backstretch into 3.
Yeah, down into 3. KFB sitting in P2. 8 car right now, P number 3. There is the 98, as you mentioned earlier, of old Master Killer. And then I think it's going to be the 13, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. Let me see. I'm working my way back there right now. There's King Mathers. 78. It's not the one. I'm trying to. No, it's the 13 of Commando Griff right now, sitting in P number 5. Just a second ago, looked like they were going to go double wide for the first 2 rows, but they decided to sort that out. A little bit of contact between the 98 and the 8. I have a feeling, Rick, with Commando Griff sitting behind the 98. Hashtag JPA Militia teammates. He's just going to give him a shove all the way down the backstretch.
A massive shove down that backstretch. We'll see what he can cobble together while these drivers get ready for their pit stops. It has to be on their mind, no doubt. 54 now leading this race. I can't tell you the last time a new driver in their NNR debut managed to lead more than a couple of laps. And Pete, I could be incorrect here, but I think every last one of the remaining 13 drivers on the track has been in the top 5 today. Just a thrilling display of talent from every last driver in this field. 27 laps remaining next time by. We're going to see green flag pit stops within the next 9 laps.
Absolutely. 50, and Rick, here is the chance for the 54 of KFB to really show what he's got. This is the first time he's been up in front of King Mathers, nothing but clean air on the hood of this Toyota, and nobody to really push or pull anybody behind him up to him. So will we see KFB kind of pull away the same as King Mathers did when he had the cars behind him double wide? 54 continuing to lead now. Rick, you just said it. Could this be the chance for the 54 to take it to victory lane during his NNR debut?
Still plenty of race to go, Pete. I wouldn't put the curse of the commentator on him just yet, but if we had live odds right now, you would be hard pressed not to put a couple of dollars on the 54. Doing a good job so far in this race. We have to give a special mention though to the 15 of King Mathers, who sits 3rd in points and has had a wonderful control of this race. Speaking of special mentions, Pete, the 9 of Q Dogs, your points leader so far, not as close as we think he would be.
One more special mention out there in chat. Y'all see that 2W Gaming Productions? There's a little bit of history. That is actually Deeds. Y'all may recognize the name from the gamer tag on Xbox. He ran and worked with HD Motorsports for the first year or so back in the day before NNR was rebranded. And when Deeds went away, I stepped in, and the rest is history. But Deeds, man, good to see you. Definitely been a while. Hope all is well, sir. The stories from Charlotte that we could tell. What a good time. But man, thanks for coming out, hanging out. Glad to see you. Good to know that you're all right. Stick around, bud. It's going to be a good race.
The 54 of KFB pulling out to a larger lead than Mathers had on him just a few laps ago. But again, pit stops coming in these next 7 or so laps. It's 1.2 seconds from 2nd to 3rd place and just 0.7 between 1st and 2nd. We've got a quarter remaining, Pete. Less than 25 laps to go.
Just as you say, less than 25 laps to go. Old Boehner checking in, wondering how it's going. Well, Boehner, the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow, took max points in stage number 1. King Mathers took stage number 2. We are in the midst of stage number 3. 24 laps remaining. The 54 of KFB's got that Twix machine in the wind. 15 of King Mathers was running P2. I'm still going through the field, as you can see, and yeah, looks like the 15 as they cross that yard of bricks. You see that 54 up front, not bad whatsoever. Boehner, welcome back, sir. Good to see you.
The 54 of KFB leads into that second corner with the 15 of Mathers trailing. The 10 of Old Tweeter falling off the pace, but following that 20 of Duramax. Little Tank behind them both, and then the 9 of Q Dogs also trapped back here. So we'll see what our points leader can muster in the final 25. Meanwhile, the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow, your stage 1 winner, getting behind the 98 of Master Killer in 4th, and 3rd place being occupied by our pole sitter, Combat Beast.
Yeah, Combat Beast doing a great job. Started on, as you just said, started on pole, did a great job, led several laps. And I tell you, Rick, that 78 is starting to emerge one more time. Sitting right behind the 98 of Master Killer, then he's got the 8, then he's got the 15. At one point or another, he has worked his way through this field. Could it come down to pit stops where your entry and your exit, getting in just a little bit faster than the next guy, but not being so aggressive that you get that black flag? Then you got to worry about coming out. You got to stay on the apron all the way to the backstretch, jamming up through those gears, trying to get up to speed as quick as possible. Meanwhile, not really knowing, or I don't know, if these guys are going to be able to go the whole distance. Is it going to be any kind of a fuel issue? Can they go to the very last lap? Rick, there's a whole lot of unknowns because we haven't really seen a long green flag run in either of these stages. We don't know what a long run will do to these tires, to the balance of these cars. It's been thrown off in the first couple stages.
Certainly thrown off, Pete, but there's a lot they can do to maintain them, especially considering they may have one more pit stop to the end, depending on how long it'll take them to get there. Still so much race to go, but these top 5 need to bide their time while they're racing against each other. They know what they're capable of, and I think that most of these top 5, Pete, is just waiting for the final 10 laps.
Yeah, next time Combat Beast comes on by, I'll see if he switches any of his menus. See what he's actually. Okay, there we go. So just as I say that, he must be listening. He's got 2 laps of fuel left in that number 8 Camaro. So they're going to have to come on down, and I would imagine that from there on out, they will be able to go the distance. Rick, who's going to get on and off pit road the best? Who's going to be able to maybe break away just a little bit, have that great 14.2 pit stop? Maybe somebody else will have a little bit of an issue as we're riding along right now with the 20 of Duramax coming up right behind the 5 of Little Tank, giving him a big old shove. And man, there's everybody out in chat's talking about the great racing, the different leaders, the passing. This has not been your typical NNR race at Indy.
A thrilling race at Indy nonetheless, Pete. It's been fantastic watching these guys do their thing, and I'm excited to see what they can do in these final 20 laps as they cross this line. Leaders starting to come down pit road, and they're going to make their final pit stops to get to the end.
Yep, you got the 15 down pit road, you got the 8 of Combat Beast, and a couple of others. LXTX7 was the first and so far the only knock on, I don't have that wooden table anymore. There we go. Only car to lag out tonight. Rick, we are, let's see, it's 10:06. I haven't seen any kind of a bump, any kind of a surge. So far, so great tonight. One hell of a race. Everybody out there in chat has definitely been, you can't ask for any better.
Not at all, Pete. We'll see where these leaders come out and who tries a little bit of trickeration. I'm not sure if anyone's brave enough to try to go 2 tires all the way to the finish. It would certainly be a bold move, but still a lot to do here if we're honest. You've got not only to manage the tires to the end, but you need to be fast with the rest of your competitors.
Right, Cape, rather, or both of you, thank you very much for being quick on the draw with those unneeded messages. Absolutely appreciate it. But working our way through, there's a 99 Ditech Toyota for Zachary Jason. He's on pit road, rocking back and forth. He's grabbing his last set of Eagle Feel Goods, so maybe he'll have enough to burn it down at the end. 13 of Commando Griff right behind the 98 of Master Killer, coming on down pit road for their last stop for their trip trip here to the Brickyard. Here comes the 8 of Combat Beast. He's going to go flashing on by the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow while he's still on pit road. That 54 Twix machine, he's now going to have a little bit of contest with the 8 of Combat as he goes flashing on by. So the 54 must not have had the best pit stop right when it really matters. We're going to be moving the 8 back to the lead if he can get on by and keep the 98 of Master Killer, the 13 of Griff, and all those that are on pit road right now at bay. Working my way on back up. See Q-Dog pulling out of his pit stop. Many cars coming out of pit road for their final time riding with that 20. Nobody anywhere near or around him. And it looks like, yeah, after that pit stop, it is going to be the 8 car of Combat Beast to resume the lead. Rick, our pole leader, up front, could be right when it matters the most.
We'll see where Combat Beast ends up now. A lot of drivers still trying to get those positions and put themselves in position for that final sprint to the finish. Combat Beast leading in the 8, but right behind it, well, not necessarily right behind him, is the 54 of KFB. Been up there all night long, and the new kid can make a stamp in the NNR world by winning his Xfinity debut. Meanwhile, Old Tweeter, another of the ENEA gang, in that top pack. 16 to go. Next time by, Pete, I still couldn't place a confident bet on one sole driver.
I tell you what, though, you mentioned it earlier, and we talked about it last night. Catching up is one to somebody is one thing. Passing them is completely different. Combat Beast has a couple of wins on the season. He's no rookie. He's very fast. He usually has King Outbreak in his ear to lend him a piece of advice or two. They actually help out each other, whether they're here on Heat or whether they're over on the iRacing servers or wherever. That Twix machine is fast. He should be just about ready to catch the draft from that 8 if he doesn't have it already. I don't know if he'll have enough to get by him, though. As you mentioned, next time by is going to be 14 to go. A lot of time, many corners left. It's anybody's race. These two could get together and take each other out. And P3, work their way on up. Lot of racing, a lot of miles to go.
A lot of possibilities that could still occur in the remainder of this race. We'll see who's got the stones to make the pass when it absolutely counts. The 44 of Baritone Boss by his lonesome with no one to draft off of. The 8 of Combat Beast continues to lead. King Mathers with no one ahead, but Cole 315 bearing down. And Unforgotten Shadow seems to have been forgotten with 15 laps remaining in this race. Battles all over, Pete. That 8 car, though, getting a little bit less lonely. KFB closing the gap.
Yeah, KFB absolutely closing. Deed's out there saying who can save those tires for the second half of this run is big. Rick, we just saw them go through their first full fuel and tire run. I would imagine by now everybody would have their final adjustments in to be able to carry their their car for the entirety of the fuel run or the entirety of the race. But Rick, this is the last stage. This is for the chance to kiss the bricks. You're gonna lay it all out there on the line. You're gonna try to go as fast as you can into the corner. You're gonna try to keep the guy behind you. You're going to ultimately push the boundaries of what you've been able to set up as far as a car goes for this last stage. You may not know exactly what you got until maybe too late.
We'll see who's got what here, Pete. These pit stops are going to mean everything for these drivers if they intend on having any chance to make it to the very end. The 54 of KFB by his relative lonesome, if you will. The 8 of Combat Beast trying to signal that he's going to come down pit road, but it nearly cost him with the 54 of KFB sailing by as Combat Beast put 2 tires in the grass. But Combat Beast continues to stay out, actually, Pete, they have 10 more laps of range remaining in these fuel tanks and a little more than 10 laps to go.
Absolutely. I think that is why we're seeing, just like what we saw last night, 13 laps to go. The 8 cars got 11 laps left in the tank. Rick, I pulled up, I forget who it was last night, but I pulled up their stream and I showed how they were saving gas through the corners. Not everybody's got the shifter. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. I think that is exactly why we just saw the 8 almost literally pull over and allow KFB to just zip on by. I think the 8, he's throwing that thing back in neutral and saving as much as he can. But Rick, I don't know if he can save 2 full laps around Indy.
One way or another, Pete, he just went all in. He shoved his chips to the center of the table and he said, this is what I've got. What do you guys have? So the gauntlet has been thrown and the question has been asked. But now, who is going to answer it? Pete, the 54 of KFB leading with a grand lead over the 8 of Combat Beast as Combat Beast pulls away. But does he continue to slip back, saving the fuel, or does he just hang in second, not conceding any more positions? Still anybody's race here, Pete. These top 2, they may be separated on the track, but they're still wicked close.
Yeah, Boehner and More Smoke talking about the 54 possibly winning his debut race, then saying that the 8 is saving hard, and More Smoke kind of agreeing with Boehner that the 54 could actually get it done. Rick, I'm trying to think back to that round of green flag pit stops. I don't remember if the 8 came in a lap or 2 earlier than the 54, or if the 54 and the 8 came down and the 54 is just running it hard, hoping for that caution to fly. With NNR is not known for cautions. We've seen a couple, 1 or 2 tonight. We saw, I think, 1 manual caution last night in the truck race, if I'm not mistaken. But cautions are not very common here in either of the 3 series.
Not at all, Pete, and every week we talk about the professionalism and the skill that these NNR drivers drive with, and it's just apparent week after week. It's really just not even a question anymore. It's a statement, the way that they put this talent out on the racetrack every single week. Very, very impressive.
Absolutely. We're still going through. Deed says he thinks the 54 was 1 lap later than the 8. Well, that would still put him 1 lap down. Looks like the 8 car of Combat Beast has actually brought that Camaro down pit road. He's going to take just 1/2 of a can, no tires, nothing else, and try to get on out as quick as possible. I almost wonder if anybody else in the back is going to have to do the same thing. It will be absolutely interesting. I mean, the 8 car, he's got nothing to worry about. He's doing very, very well in points. He's got a couple wins under his belt. He knows that he's going to be there in the postseason when we race those last 6 races. The 54, he's going to have a lot to prove between now and then. I don't know if he can catch up, but we'll definitely have to see. 8 car off the jack stands, off of the exit ramp, just joined the backstretch. Nobody anywhere near around him. Let's see if anybody joins him.
We'll see who's going to join who in these closing laps. The 8 car so far all by his lonesome in 12th place. KFB in the 54 still pulling away, but now he's got Master Killer coming up behind him in car number 98. Meanwhile, the 15 of King Mathers has fallen off the pace. Some guys are going for it. Some guys are saving it. 9 to go at the line. 54 of KFB leading this one. Master Killer, he's going to get a tow right behind him and challenge for the lead.
Yeah, right now the 8 sitting back in P number 12 out of the remaining 14 that are out here. Now, Rick, I would imagine that the 54 saw exactly what was going on, looked down at his gauge, says, hey, man, I got to start saving just a little bit. He allowed the 98 and the 13 of Commando Griff to catch up. The 98's got to think by now or realize by now whether he's going to be able to make it or not. 54 blocking every which way but not wanting to get loose, to use the expression loosely, get it? But no, 54 blocking it all the way around. Commando Griff, you know he's going to go with the 98. Both of them part of that J-Pop militia. 54 is going high, 54 is going low. Whatever he's got to do to keep those two cars behind him. But as these guys duel, Rick, look at this string of cars coming up behind him.
A big string of cars coming up behind them, Pete. 54, 98 across the line, and we are far from over. The 13 of Commando Griff sitting in the third position, but the question will be asked, do they have enough fuel to go this distance, Pete? It's now 7 to go at Indy. It's still anybody's race.
Yeah, and that backpack of 4 or 5 cars, including the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow that had amazing raw speed in the beginning before any adjustments were done, is sitting right there with, I believe that's going to be the 9 of Q. Yeah, that is going to be the 9 of Q-Dog, your overall Xfinity Series points leader. And then he's got a couple that are right behind him. So Q's got a great, very, very fast car right behind him to push. He's got the 98, the 13, a couple of great cars to pull off of. Man, I think we're going to see one hell of a battle for P2 as we get inside the top 5 laps. 5 to go next time by, Rick.
5 next time, and we'll see what these drivers can do to get into position to get this final spot. Everybody's antsy. Everybody wants a position in this final top 5, but will they have what it takes, Pete? That's going to be the question on everyone's mind. Do you have what it takes? As they're coming to this line, the 98 of Master Killer being accosted by the 13 of Commando Griff. 54 of KFB still leads. Unforgotten Shadow, as ever relentless, sits in fourth.
Yeah, Unforgotten Shadows, he's been able to work his way on by the 9 of Q-Dog. Moved his way up to the back bumper of the 13. Commando Griff has got to see that 78 coming. Now, if your main goal is to try to catch up to that 54, you know the 78's got one hell of a hot rod. Do you let him go and draft off him? Let him pull off the back bumper of the 98, then get by the 98. Try to catch the 54. Do you think 5 laps is enough, or do you think the 54 has just started to check out? He saved what he needed to save. He's on the money as far as what amount of gas he needs to get to the line for the last time. It seems like he's starting to pull away just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but is it enough, Pete? 5 remaining, and it gets just a little bit closer lap by lap. 98 of Master Killer trying to hang on with the 13 and 74 bearing down upon him. 4 laps to go at Indy. Who's got what it takes?
Do you think the 98 of Master Killer is kind of holding up the 13? The 13 have to check up, or is the 13 used up his stuff, trying to keep up with the 98, trying to help him get up to the back bumper of the 54? That Twix machine, he's been in both the left lane and the right lane whenever he's had to place a block on Master Killer's car. Insane. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the home of NNR for all 3 series, the Truck Xfinity Cup. And soon we're gonna go iRacing, but that's gonna be over with the one and only TN Vols. As you see there, the Twitch channel on the right-hand side under the camera. Fry Dog, thank you for another 100 bits. Rick, 98 starting to reel the 54 in.
98 bringing the 54 in, but does he have enough time, Pete? It's going to be 3 laps to go the next time they cross this line. It's a race against time. It's a race against your resources as well. Has KFB saved enough? Is he going to do the unthinkable in his first ever NNR Xfinity race and take home all the marbles?
Man, right now it really looks like that Twix Camry, he's got some of that sticky stuff on the bottom. He is just on rails through the corners, maybe a little loose off, but able to paint that white line all the way through, down the front stretch, off of 4, diving to the inside, not wanting to allow anybody to draft off him. We talked about that earlier, how they were, they swerve side to side. You see a lot of that here. You see a lot of that at Pocono as well. Two tracks very, very close in style, still rocking back and forth. If I'm the 98, I'm going to stick straight with the 13 right behind me, as well as that 78. And Rick, the rest of the car has caught up. If they can get to moving, if they can just stay in line, they might have enough time, enough draft to catch back up to the 54. But there's that adage again. Catching is one thing. Passing is another, especially in the closing laps. We saw him disallow the 98 of Master Killer from getting by him before with his aggressive blocks. He's going to do, I would imagine he'd do all that and then some in the closing one or two. All right, so now we got the 78 of Unforgotten Shadow. He looks like he's been able to now get on by the 98 of Master Killer. Here comes the 9 of Q-Dog, the 10 as well. The 78, he's been fast, just hasn't been able to seal the deal in anything other than that stage. But yeah, the more these guys race side by side, a little bit of contact by the 9 off the inside wall. Here comes the 10 to the inside. Here comes the 98. A little bit of contact with the grass. That's going to push the 98 up 3 wide. 13, 98, and the 9 of Q-Dog all side by side off of 4, going down the backstretch. Last lap, 54 is going to go ahead and get it done. What one hell of a race, Rick.
Thrilling finish to the end of that one. The 10 car at the end getting the second place finish. Old Tweeter make that a 1-2 for the ENEA debutants in NNR Xfinity, something I have never seen in my life. 2 first-timers coming home first and second. It looks like Q-Dog might have grabbed home third. It just Unforgotten Shadow coming home third, Q-Dog fourth, Master Killer fifth.
Man, one hell of a race. 54, able to get it up front when it really mattered, and he pulled away. So obviously he had enough gas, able to really get it done. Guys and gals out there in chat, just about all 30 of you, definitely thank you all for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up. Appreciate all the bits. I put the Twitch handle for Experts of Racing out there one more time. Don't forget, Friday afternoon, right about 5 o'clock. You're not going to want to miss it. He's got some kind of a big announcement. And then, of course, here is the Twitter handle for the one and only Rick James. Make sure you give him a follow so you know when he goes live. And, man, it's going to be one hell of a post race, Rick. First time we're going to interview 2 rookies. And then I believe it was the 78 to come home P3. All right, these guys are taking their cool down lap. We're going to catch up with them over here in Team Comms. Guys, stay still. We will be right back. All right, ladies and gents, we are back again. Thank you very much for keeping it right here. We've got our top 3 in the booth. Starting off, Rick James. I'm sorry, Rick James, you got our buddy Shadow.
Shadow, it was 90 minutes ago that you told me in the driver's meeting you would see us in victory lane. And here you are, my friend, in the top 3 booth. Welcome and congratulations on that bronze medal. How was your race?
I appreciate it, and yeah, I did tell you, but the way I did it, I feel absolutely terrible. Shout out to Q Dog for accepting my apology and everything. I got hello, excuse me, super loose going into turn three, and then coming out of four, I kind of put him in a wall, and I felt absolutely terrible. But I mean, overall, it was definitely fun. I knew that last uh, coming out, it was going to be a fuel saving strategy, and definitely huge props to KFB for pitting the same time I did and just pulling away and um, still being able to save all that gas. I mean, I was astounded. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely. I got up here, but definitely not how I wanted to get up here. So if I ruffled any feathers, I apologize. And I know definitely Q Dogs, but hopefully he's listening. I know I owe him one.
A thrilling race nonetheless, and glad to see that you have that humility about you, my friend. We're going to see you next week with NNR as well, man. Fantastic spirited drive. How about shout-outs for your fans?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody watching out there. You, Rick James, and Pete, and American Ethanol. Turn out for what? NNR, of course. I see NNR bowling out there. Rock. And Expert. I'm excited. I'm excited for Friday to jump in the booth, his podcast with him. But yeah, again, I apologize to everybody. The feathers are ruffled.
On that third place finish, Pete, you've got our silver medalist.
Absolutely, Tweeter. I tell you, I saw you pop into Discord. I had never heard of you before, and then I hear from Rick James that you're part of ENEA, the eNASCAR Elite Association. Man, definitely one hell of a way to come on up. Your first time. Walk us through your race. Where did you see that P2 dash come from? And what's it finally? What does it mean actually race in NNR for you?
Man, first off, I just want to thank all the guys that allowed me to come in and race, give me this opportunity. Yeah, I'm supporting and supported by ENEA. Joined them recently, so I'm glad to go ahead and give them a good run over here in NNR. Everything I saw was some real good, tight, close racing. It was real good stuff. I know a lot of people were saving fuel. I was able to save a little bit more early in the run, and then was able to kind of catch back up to the guys as they started saving. With that, of course, there was a little bit of shakeup there going into 3 and 4, and I end up being one of the prevailers of that. Good car overall. Difficult track to pass at. Few passing lanes, and you really got to throw it down there. Just want to try to come out here, earn the respect of these guys, not race them too dirty, because that isn't my style anyways. So real humbled by it. Also got to give the congrats out to KFB, one of the personal friends and stuff like that, on his victory. Came in here first night with NNR and ran a good race overall. Got shuffled back a little bit from time to time, but it turned out to be a great one.
Man, congratulations. Welcome to NNR. Definitely a way to get your name out there. Congratulations on that, on this P2. Rick James, you've got KFB.
KFB. Right Twix, left Twix, winning Twix. It does not matter, my friend. You come home victorious at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. How was your race tonight?
Overall, first 2 stages.
KFB, you got me, pal? Rick James in the booth.
Yeah, can you hear me? You got me?
One more time for KFB. You got me, pal? Rick James and Pete got in the booth.
He just I was able to hear him.
Do you got me now?
Do you have him now, Rick?
KFB, you got me, pal? Hang on just 1 second here. You know what? That's on. I've still have muted for the last ENE. KFB, let's try one more time, buddy. Rick James in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Buddy, your first NNR race, your first NNR win, dude. 1 for 1, and you have a 100% hit rate in the Xfinity Series in NNR. How'd you do it?
Just the first 2 stages, I sat there and struggled. really hard with the tire wear. And third stage, my tire wear seemed to be pretty good. Just able to sit there and save a few laps and keep consistent lap times. Just want to thank everybody that does this, lets this happen. You guys, broadcasters, the group, NNR, just can't thank you guys enough.
How about some shout-outs for your fans at home, KF?
Well, one shout-out I want to give is my shout-out to my buddy Tweeter here. We practiced, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I want to thank him and thank everybody that does this. You guys sit here for an hour, 30 minutes broadcasting and commentating. I don't know who would want to do that, but congrats to you guys. You guys do a heck of a job doing it. And
Race fans, KF. Race fans, buddy. Race fans are the kind of people that would sit here and watch you do that for 90 minutes, my friend. It was a thrill nonetheless, buddy. Congratulations on that win.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Back to you, Pete.
Absolutely. Rick James, another great race right here from Indy. KFB is going to head on down. He's going to give that yard of bricks a big old smooch. We got one more race here tomorrow night, Rick James. The Cup guys, about 8:30 Eastern. They're gonna set the qualifying right after their practice and get it done. Usually the field for Cup is quite a bit larger than both the truck and Xfinity. So after watching these guys duke it out, battle it out, passing it out, I mean, they were all over the place. It's going to be one hell of a stream, one hell of a race tomorrow night. You're definitely not going to want to miss it. Again, one more big shout out to you, Rick James, for coming out and giving your time. Definitely looking forward to many more races with you. And one more look at, as soon as I get there, one more look at this graphic in this on this right-hand side. Again, blue never looked so good. I've been decked out in blue all night long. The new NNR iRacing logo going to be brought to you by twitch.tv/TNVols. I think it's TNVols Fan 88 coming soon. It's you're not going to want to miss it. Also, I put Rick James's Twitter out there just a moment ago. Make sure you go on over and give that a big old smash. Something tells me you're probably going to hear from him on Friday afternoon. Stay tuned. But until tomorrow night, guys, thanks for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up, keeping up with us. Appreciate all the bits. Man, more than you guys know. I'll actually go ahead and prepare that poll for tomorrow night. I really want to hear from you guys. What kind of gift cards do you want for that next $100 giveaway? Visa, Xbox, Amazon, NASCAR.com, or other. They're coming, not too in the not too distant future. So, well, hopefully I'll be able to hear from you guys soon. But until tomorrow night, guys, have a good one. See you somewhere around the track.